How's it going, everyone? It is Drago. We're back with another chapter of Fairy Tale 100 Year Quest, chapter 108, The Earth's Awakening. The cover page for this chapter features Natsu, Lucy, and Happy on it. They're all out having a nice meal together, which at least Natsu and Lucy look like they're having a nice time, but Happy looks like he is being stabbed. The Lucy here, though, very cute. I really much like her, like blowing on her food to make sure it's not gonna burn her mouth. It says that they're eating Odin. I literally have. I'm gonna guess it's a soup dish. Well, he's making it right there, or kind of like ramen. I will say whatever Lucy's eating, if it isn't Odin, just that like triangle meat thing, but it looks like it's like really hot. But you already know that friggin' the Nalu shippers are gonna be coming out to play for this chapter, which it is a very cute chapter cover with the two of them and Happy being stabbed in the background. So we pick up our chapter seeing the aftermath of the Ignia versus Selene battle, which I'm pretty sure she's fully dead now. And Natsu ain't too happy about this outcome because he's yelling at Ignia for, killing Selene, which he's kind of surprised by this. Like, wasn't this your job, Natsu, to kill all the dragon gods and I just killed one for you? Like, shouldn't you be thanking me for doing your job for you? Like, it kind of seems like you're on Selene's side. Like, why you defending her all of a sudden? Which Natsu must think that all the dragon gods are friends because he said it didn't particularly matter who beat, Ignia or Selene. What makes him mad is that he was killing one of his comrades. Which, big shocker, Ignia was not her friend. But if he did have a friend, that would be... And I absolutely hate this guy's name because I am still not entirely sure how to pronounce it, but I Google translated it. Dog Rameg, which later in this chapter he's called the Earth Dragon God. So I'm just going to prefer to call him the Earth Dragon God so I don't have to say that name. Which out of nowhere they're hearing a voice saying a comrade. And everyone else is wondering where the heck this voice is coming from. And even the people inside the labyrinth, it's starting to shake, and they're like, where's this voice coming from? Which pretty much everyone else is like, okay, we gotta escape from this labyrinth now. You see all the different teams in Fairy Tale trying to get out of the labyrinth, and the team that we pick up with is Loxus, Lucy, and Virgo. Virgo's still very much into that rope tying job she did to Lucy, and she's like really into it. But as they're trying to get out, someone is sneaking up behind them, and that person turned out to be Kieran, which I quite love that Loxus is over this at this point. Like, oh, it's you. I thought we were over with this. So you really want to fight? You really want to finish this thing? Which he must be really into this because everything's crumbling down around him. He's like, oh, I really need this, man. I really need to finish this fight. Which Loxus stays behind so, Lucy and Virgo can get out of there. And he's like, oh man, I need to beat up one of you losers every now and then. He really took it as this is going to be a fight between the strongest members of both guilds. And Loxus is like, well, if you put it that way, I cannot lose to you now. I'm actually excited that we get the finish between Loxus and Kieran. So that doesn't last for very long because we cut back to Natsu and the whole dragon situation that they got going on. And this voice is still talking, saying, you haven't came to my grave in like 100 years and you're still going to call yourself my comrade? And Ignia is like, what the heck? That voice? I haven't heard that in a while. And that voice turned out to be the Earth Dragon God. Again, already said his name. Don't really want to say it again. And he's punching himself out of the ground, and everyone else is like, what the heck is going on? And you get the full reveal of the dragon form of the Earth Dragon God, which I guess this whole time the Earth Dragon God must have just been sleeping because he's like, I've been asleep for way too long. Which I didn't think dragon faces could be this expressive, but these two are like just smirking at each other and just like, what's up, bro? Suzaku's just like, what the heck? Wasn't this guy just a labyrinth now? So like, how is he a dragon? Plans yet unknown to us, the Earth Dragon God and Ignia are like, is the plan ready? Yeah, it's ready. And Ignia is getting ready to start to leave, and he's like, okay, the plan can now proceed as planned. Ignia is going to go, and the Earth Dragon God's just going to chill, which he must be able to smell everyone in the dungeon, because he's like, okay, I haven't moved my body in 100 years. It is time to eat the humans in this labyrinth. And Ignia is cool with it, but he has one rule. You can kill whoever you want. They are your prey. But no on Natsu. He is Ignia's prey, which he really has to emphasize this, like, hey, that's Ignia's kid. You are not to lay a finger on him, okay? He is totally off limits, which I like the Earth Dragon God's responses, like, well, can I just, like, beat him up, but I won't kill him? And Ignia's just like, freaking fine. Oh my goodness, if it'll get you to shut up and just kill everyone else, but just leave Natsu. And whatever their plan is, he wants to make sure Natsu sees it and the world that they're going to create. And Ignia starts to leave, and Natsu is running after him, which the Earth Dragon God here is really egging on Natsu, like, oh, you're going to really go chase him? You know, I'm going to go eat every human here, which includes your friends? Like, wouldn't you regret it if you went to go chase after Ignia and said, if only I'd stopped him when he had the chance? And that little line right there of him threatening to kill his friends, and then like, oh man, you would have regretted it if you left. That got Natsu's full attention, and he's ready to fight him, which he's pretty full of himself, because he's like, well, either way, you are still going to lose to me. Elfinser's heart gave him the ability to know how strong he is, because he used it over the past 100 years to gather intel, which he isn't at full power yet, because he starts to try and use his power and he just turns back into his human form. I mean, this guy's pants very much remind me of Azuma from like Tenra Island or Grimoire Heart, but this is the full human form of the Earth Dragon God. So this fight is about to begin between him and Natsu, and presumably Suzaku. This could be very interesting, because he says the line of, I am the labyrinth's creator, I am the labyrinth itself. So like, can he do like labyrinth attacks? I guess we'll see what his magic's like probably in the next chapter. The final page of this chapter is like probably most of the labyrinth itself in ruins, and Elfinser's crow finding him and he's still alive. He basically talks about how the Earth Dragon God used his heart to store his life force in. And basically, what was the point of making this whole labyrinth then? And that is the end of our chapter. So my thoughts. I don't normally go into people's theories, because I personally kind of want to just look at the chapter by myself. I don't want to be influenced by people's thoughts. And I don't really want to see something and then take their theory. But this chapter took like forever to come out, and I was waiting for it. I went on Reddit, and that's where I saw the chapter finally, and the top comment of it is actually such a cool idea of where we could be going. I'm like, I have to put this in here. So if you go on Reddit, this may be the top comment on this chapter. By Behold, I am the wind. And he says, Ignia's whole plan here is, maybe to revive all the dragons, who knows. I just like the idea of the dragon gods part of what he posted here. So we initially started with 5. I think we could potentially be at 7 here, because he says there is, like in Japanese culture, it's called the 7 Luminaries. So each day is a different element. Conveniently, I don't know if these are actually it. I haven't actually researched it. This guy could just be completely BSing, but I really like the idea of it. He says that Monday is the moon day, Tuesday is fire day, Wednesday is water day, Thursday is wood day, Friday is gold day, Saturday is earth day, and Sunday is sun day. And pretty much all of those correspond to an actual dragon god we have in the story, or an element that they're using. And I was like, that is actually kind of cool. In this post as well, he posted that Ignia is probably the sun dragon god, and Natsu would probably become the fire dragon god, which actually could give him, and he even posted in here, could potentially give him another power boost, fire dragon god mode. And it's like, that's kind of cool. I don't know, I just kind of thought it was fun. Now getting into my actual thoughts on the chapter and not just a theory I saw on Reddit. I saw some people were like, oh man, freaking Loxus and Kieran, they're going to be fighting and Loxus is going to win. Freaking Diablos is going to look like trash. Honestly, like, I was like kind of hyped for their fight. Like, I was kind of upset that it got ruined the way it did. So I'm actually kind of cool to see who would win in this match. Like, they were literally hyping up like this is the strongest members of each guild. Now I will say Kieran kind of left that fight, and as far as we know he didn't get injured anymore. And then Loxus, when he left the fight, he obviously was in the fight with Lucy and he got beat up quite a bit. For the most part, Kieran is going into this fight undamaged and Loxus is going in pretty heavily nerfed. To be honest, this is Loxus we're talking about. He probably still will win regardless. But who knows what kind of crazy crap Kieran could pull, because he still hasn't showed what's inside that coffin. I don't think Loxus would die or anything. It could potentially get postponed again because the labyrinth is crumbling around them, which I think would be a mega bummer again, to have 2 times it happen to where they're fighting and then it gets like, you know, stopped abruptly again. As for Natsu versus the Earth Dragon God with potentially Suzaku joining in, we have absolutely no scale for how good and or slash bad the Earth Dragon God's attacks are, or how strong they are. I will say, at least for Natsu, he gets the luxury of him being nerfed because him initially waking up resulted in him not being at full power. But I guess we'll find out next chapter as to how strong and or slash weak this guy is. Especially since he's shown to be teaming with Ignia. I don't want it to be a simple fight. Like, these two could be pretty cool villains together. I think the next chapter would probably focus maybe on Loxus versus Kieran and maybe get a little bit of Natsu starting this fight. But you do have to think the rest of the guild members are coming out of the labyrinth, so they could, if Natsu holds out long enough, they could eventually provide him aid. Now I do think you have to remember some of the members I'm going to say are definitely down for the count, aka Lucy and Urza. I'd say they are 100% off the table to probably help you out. Loxus is already preoccupied in his fight, and who knows if he'd win that. So pretty much the available members to even potentially help Natsu would be Wendy, which she's probably already a little bit winded with her fight, but she can definitely provide aid. Then you have Gray and Gajiel, which honestly they haven't done much during this arc. I actually haven't even been involved in a single fight. It'd actually be kind of a cool team of Natsu, Suzaku, Gray, and Gajiel fighting this Earth Dragon God. Who knows if Suzaku even, you know, hangs around. Also, an interesting detail here. Diablo's Guild, obviously, they have eaten dragons to gain their power. If Selene's fully dead, is someone going to eat that body? Just kind of an interesting thing to think about. I wasn't expecting another dragon god to show up in this chapter. And I actually like that we are setting up kind of a bigger villain scheme at the end game of a 100-year quest. Otherwise, what do you guys think of the chapter? Leave it in the comments below. I know this one took a little bit for the chapter to be released, and I got a lot of jobs just piled up like right as this chapter released. Like, I wish it would have came out on the Tuesday or Wednesday that it usually does. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and this is Drago signing out.